So last time I messed around and created Aeronautics, I tried to make a working roulette table. And while that ended up going pretty well, as I was building it, I started to speculate that maybe using these modded block physics, I might be able to make a working pinball table. And well, this week, that's exactly what I've done. And viewer, let me tell you right now that this new minigame is truly one of the best things I have ever made. It really works 100% of the time, and let me tell you, it is so much fun. I would never lie about this for viewer retention during my intro. You know, this has got me thinking. Have any of you guys ever seen a pinball machine in real life? Like, ever? I think it's one of those things that only exists in films. Like, quicksand. Or trees. Now, I obviously think it makes sense to use one of these mob skulls as our ball in the pinball machine, because out of all the blocks in the game, they're kind of the smallest, and they kind of look the most like a ball. Like, sure, they can't roll, but if we make it out of ice, it should be good enough, right? As for a starting point, I think it makes a lot of sense that we get the flippers working first things first. And what I've done is I just have a little creative motor spinning super fast into a clutch and then into a torsion spring set to 45 degrees. And then the clutch is going to be activated by this redstone link, which I've already hooked up to this controller here. So when I press left, you can see it's moving that torsion spring 45 degrees. And now, if I then hook this up to a cogwheel, this will feed into our swivel bearing, meaning we can now do this whole little flipper 45 degrees. Meaning if we get our stand-in for our ball, this Witherspoon scale, what's wrong with me? If I place it there and then activate the controller, we can see we actually do get a bit of flippy goodness from that. And then it gets launched and apparently clips through the floor. What the hell? Oh no! So the next step from here should be pretty simple. We'll just grab one of those and stick another one facing the opposite direction. So now with our controller, if I press left, we activate that flipper, press right, we activate that one. And we leave a little gap in the middle because the pinball machines always have this, so it's constantly in a state of panic and unfairness when the ball just so happens to drop down the middle. And there's nothing you can do about it because the machine ultimately wants to eat your quarters. And now we grab our link controller, we can give this a little bit of, yeah, look at that, woo! And I'm actually noticing that despite being completely vertical, that just clipped right through. I'm starting to suspect that this clipping might be an issue, and I have no idea how to solve it. Now, we'll quickly test, do we get much more bounce if it's actually slime? Does the game model this? Alright, test the walls, do they bounce more? And go! Ooh, that looked dodgy. Oh, no, that definitely bounced more that time. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Oh, in fact, I forgot to demonstrate this because I set this up. The reason there's wood planks down here is on real pinball machines, the actual paddles don't rest completely horizontal, but they actually slope slightly. So what I can do is go over to the swivel bearings, set them to unlock till they go like this, and then I can relock them, so now they presume this as a default state, so we can actually get it more realistic that way. Now, of course, the other big mechanical part of a pinball machine is the launch mechanism, which shoots pinballs all the way up around the top and then dispenses them into the game for you to then start playing with. And I've tried to emulate this over here. Now, I did do something similar last time with my roulette system, where I made like a big redstone mechanical arm which like pulled back what was essentially a semi-auto pistol to launch balls onto the roulette table. But this time, I want to go a bit more basic with it, because I feel like it will emulate the classic pinball design a bit better. So what I'm instead going to do is with this plunger, I'm going to place 2 springs like this, and now when I let go of the handle, it should maintain its position, and we have a ball loaded in the cup there. Now what we'll do is we'll give the players a physics gun so they can physically crank back the power lever and then release it, and then that will launch our ball. So it was at this point that I just started researching pinball machines online, and let me tell you, there's some weird pinball crossovers out there. I have no idea why. But the point is, I wanted to get an idea of what pinball machine layouts are actually like, just so I could add all the wibbly wobbly bits which are expected for the ball to like hit against, so you can score points. And I've come up with this layout roughly here, and this is what I want to try and make. Obviously, we have this chute down the right side. This is going to be where our ball will shoot down with the lever. It will then go all the way up here, bounce off the slime, go up over the top, bounce off, and then this should land down here for down by the panels, represented by our andesite, and that's where the player will start playing with them. One thing I've noticed is pinball machines always have this like exterior channel along here and along here, and these basically bypass the panels entirely and just sink your ball all the way out at the bottom, and I guess you just don't get a go, which is kind of unfair, but pinball machines were like 1980s arcades and they were just made to like annoy you, so I guess that makes sense. Okay, so my idea for this one is usually on pinball machines you get like these flaps which they go up and down over. So my idea is you would fling the pinball and it would activate the pressure plate, open up the gate, and then it would hit this green thing which will give you points, and then it would bounce back out, right? And that'd be like a thing you gotta aim for. But I've already noticed an issue in that physics entities in this mod do not activate redstone pressure plates. And that's a bit of an issue, and I don't know how to resolve that. But gerg, you might be asking, this pinball machine is completely flat. How are you expected to have gravity and for the ball to go to the bottom when you've built it flat, idiot? Well, that's where you're wrong, viewer, because my goal is I'm actually going to add honey glue to this entire thing and basically glue it all together, make it one big physics object so I can actually tilt it on its side like this. The exact same design, but I can actually tilt it up and down. This allows us to actually balance the game, meaning if we want more gravity, what we can do is we can just tilt it up more, and then on the back, we can just make the legs longer or shorter to increase the gravity, or make it less if we want it easier. And one thing you probably was wondering when you saw this is how can we expect this to act as bumpers on like 45 degrees when the game is made out of cubes, right? How can the skull bounce off at a 45 degrees if it technically doesn't exist? And I've thought of this because we can still use aeronautics to our advantage, and I've demonstrated it over here. Obviously with this one, we've smoothed out all the edges using the cubes by placing a bunch of physics objects on swivel bearings, which I can actually go underneath and show you. Hang on, I'm gonna sneak my way under. All of these things are on swivel bearings calibrated to specific angles, so when we go up top, it actually is locked on like different degrees, so we can actually get a smooth playing experience. Okay, I have done a bit of work on the pinball machine, such as adding a layer of protective glass so the pinball doesn't shoot off at 1 billion miles an hour and pierces someone's skull, killing them instantly. I mean, that's really tragic when it happens, but I do think it's worth 100 points. I've added some observers and optical sensors, which I will explain in a bit, and I've done a couple tweaks onto the little like barriers and stuff. But most importantly, I've actually added the launch mechanism proper with this thing over here. So now with the physics gun, if I grab this, I can actually pull back on it and move the entire machine. No, please, stay still, goddammit. I can actually grab it and pull back on the springs and release, and you can see that'll properly launch it. So let's give this a bit of a go. I let it go. I load this thing into the chamber. We'll come up with a better mechanism later. I then pull back on this thing. Hopefully we can get a good launch, and up it goes. It hits the side, and now I need to get my controller out ready to play. Come on, don't go straight in the center. No! Come on! No! Right, boom. There we go. Okay, ball's going up. This is looking good so far. So that would usually hit that bumper, and we should get a score out of that. But you'll notice a couple of issues. Mainly, that it's gotten stuck, right? So the ones I've marked in gold, which is these little like bumpers here, here, and here, as well as these ones along the sides, I wanted these to be marked in gold because I wanted to be, if the ball hit these, you'd get 10 points, and that's how the scoring system would work. Now here's the big issue I've ran into, right? I have no idea how I can get a redstone signal from this. my initial impulse was to simply use observers and string in front of them, right? Simply, if the string is activated by an entity or things like the player, this will activate redstone. In fact, I can demonstrate it because I actually have a light down here. And if I just step on this observer, we should see that light turns on. I've actually wired it up properly with redstone underneath. But the thing is with this mod, they don't actually activate it. Nothing happens, which really sucks. And the other issue is this is not ice, and as a result, like there's no friction, and it actually gets stuck. If this is ice, I can actually demonstrate it. If I get rid of the string, see that? See, it just flows easy. Brilliant. But because it's an observer, it doesn't have the same friction capabilities, and it doesn't work. I even tried other solutions, such as using optical sensors like this, meaning these are basically, if I go down, these are searching for wither skulls one block above them, meaning if I stand in front of them, they don't cause anything. But if I actually get a wither skull, this solves the issue of detection, right? Because they weren't activating the string. The wither skull does actually activate these when we get a redstone pulse from them, but unfortunately, we still have the friction issue. So I don't really know a solution to this, because I could have the optical sensors instead of on the ice above it, but then you can't see what you're hitting. It'd be like blind firing, and that's not fun. You don't get that tactile feedback. So legitimately, I have no idea how to do a scoring system on this thing. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm out of ideas. I don't know how to solve this. That I can't keep score. And I'm saying this, I'm putting emphasis on this, because I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. This is the kind of thing I really try to get down in my videos. I really don't know how to solve this. And I feel like a fraud that I can't figure this out. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. I'm like emotional over this. I can't. I failed. Will I be am I going to get cancelled for this? Are people going to cancel me? Is my career over? Because I couldn't make pinball? Is this it? So all I could really do at this point, right, is just give up. And I've decorated it. I've made the pinball machine look nice. I've improved the actual launch lever a bit so it's not sticking out the glass. And it's a lot smoother and gets more power behind it. I've tried to improve the areas I can improve. I've added some slime to make like it more bouncy and more fun, but I legitimately can't keep score. So all I can do now is just like put something in there and I guess give it my best shot just to demonstrate what I've made. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think this is one of the lamer things I've made on the channel. Oh, what? What? Huh? No, wait. I will say, while I was testing this, like, not recording, I did have issues with the physics. Like, I've shown some stuff in this video of, like, the ball clipping and stuff, but that is like, right there, you literally just saw it. I've had to, like bulk up the walls as much as possible, and I don't know if I have recordings of this, but I've had instances where I've hit the ball really hard, and it's literally just phased through walls and stuff. So, as much as I've really tried to give the idea of pinball, like, working in Create Aeronautics, it's just really not built for it, which, it kind of sucks. Like, I think it's so, Well, this was a disaster. I did just get one idea for one thing I can make. Alright, and now we just need a nice border on this thing. Beautiful. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Alright, hang on. I like my eggs, burnt both sides, so let's see if I can flip this. Oh, no, catch it! No. Come on. Quick. Please. No. No. Ah!